Michelle Wie was supposed to be the female Tiger Wood, and even she was nicknamed the Big Wheezy by Tom Lehman. The teenage prodigy was celebrated for her unique combination of size, skill, and composure on the golf course. But the fame that developed high hopes for her also created overwhelming pressure, contributing to her controversial downfall. Stick around to discover how it all went wrong for someone who once had the world at her feet.
I think that's everyone though, I think at moments in our life we're exactly where we need to be, and that sometimes we don't feel like we're doing anything right.
It's impossible to talk about Michelle Wie's downfall without first addressing the immense hype that surrounded her from the very beginning. She set multiple records during her successful junior and amateur careers. At the age of 10, she became the youngest to qualify for the USGA Women's Amateur Public Links Championship in 2000. That year, she also won the Honolulu Mayor's Cup and was the low amateur in the women's division at the Hawaii State Open. In 2003, at the age of 13, Wie made her mark as the youngest USGA champion in an adult event, when she defeated Virata Nirapathpongporn 1-up at the USGA Women's Amateur Public Links Championship.
I was 10 years old and I qualified for the public links, which is the youngest, and it was kind of a big deal back in Hawaii. I remember I changed schools. I was a new kid on the block. It looked very dorky. And then the governor decided to give me a day. They're like, here's a Michelle.
Golf experts and fans equally predicted that she would dominate women's golf and set it on a new path like Tiger would. But was this expectation too much? Too soon? The answer is many critics believe so. Golf is mentally challenging and demands a lot, so peaking too early is usually detrimental. But in Wie's case, her management team, her sponsors, and even her family were seen as primary contributors to her struggles. At just 13, she made history by playing in a men's PGA Tour event, becoming the youngest female ever to do so. The decision was bold and historic, but also risky. At that point, she hadn't yet fully proven herself on the women's tour, yet she was already being placed in the spotlight against seasoned male pros. This was the gamble played by her family and management to fast-track her career, but it didn't meet their expectations. No doubt that she occasionally held her own against the male competition, but she didn't break through in a way that could match the insanely high expectations. And those expectations kept growing, largely because of the media hype surrounding her and the commercial interests of her sponsors. She became a brand before she had the chance to truly become a dominant player. A costly mistake that set her career ablaze from the start. When other teenage golfers were honing their skills in smaller, less intense competitions, Wie was facing public scrutiny on the biggest stages of the game. Adding salt to the injury, competing with men proved to be her key to fame, so it became a perfect marketing move. But it overlooked her long-term progress and success. By the time she should have been making her place at the top of the women's game, she was stuck in a cycle of trying to prove she belonged to the League of Men.
I felt like, my whole life was golf now, and then I was just like, what am I gonna do?
In the end, the immense pressure from the hype was not favoring the prodigy. She was expected to be the next Tiger Woods, and anything less than that was viewed as a failure. But Wie's struggles were not just mental, they were also physical. Wie was expected to compete with grown-up men before her time, and she had to keep up with the strict schedule of tournaments and long practice sessions. It became the reason behind injuries, and especially the wrist injury became a serious headache for her. Now you can guess how serious this injury can get for a golfer, who relies mainly on their wrists for power, control, and precision. For Wie, it was a terrible barrier when she was polishing her skills as a golfer.
I grew up in front of the cameras, and they definitely captured a lot of highs and a lot of lows, but it was definitely hard.
But it wasn't just about physical pain. What piled up to take the mental toll to the next level was the constant pressure of the media spotlight and big brand sponsorship. By the time she was in her late teens, she had already spent years trying to live up to the astronomical expectations placed upon her. In the urge to satisfy the hunger for fame and money of her management, Wie lost consistency. In one tournament, she managed to play to her full potential and struggled badly in the next one. Her accurate swing was affected by the injuries, and with each missed cut and low performance, the question echoed even louder. Was Michelle Wie ever going to live up to the hype? If the media and sponsorship pressure weren't enough, Michelle Wie's choice of coach added another layer of solid problems to her struggles. Early in her career, she teamed up with renowned golf coach David Ledbetter, who had coached many top players, including Nick Faldo and Ernie Els. On paper, it seemed like a great fit. No one other than Ledbetter looked perfect to take Wie to greatness. But in practice, it was what dug the hole to end Wie's career. Ledbetter's coaching philosophies is known for being too technical, focusing on swing mechanics. This approach clashed with Wie's natural game. Instead of enhancing her innate talents, Ledbetter's method made her swing feel unnatural and forced. Golfers at the top of the sport often rely on instinct when playing well. Ledbetter's changes disrupted her progress. What had once been powerful, fluid swing turned awkward and inconsistent, causing her performance to steadily decline.
I mean, I was the quote-unquote golden girl for a very long time, and then all of a sudden I didn't play well. I fought through injuries, and the media does beat you up.
I'm tired of saying Michelle Wie is off to a bad start again. I sound like a broken record.
On top of the hype, the media spotlight, and the coaching struggles, there was one more factor working against Michelle Wie: her own family. From the outside, it appeared that her parents were heavily involved in her career, particularly her father. He was known for being hands-on, taking control of her management and decision-making processes. While this involvement might have been well-intentioned, it has arguably done a lot of harm to the golfing career of Wie. Her parents saw her potential at a very young age, and they pushed hard to hash it out. But in their eagerness to secure lucrative sponsorship deals and make her a global superstar, they overlooked the importance of allowing their daughter to develop naturally as a player. Instead of fostering an environment where Wie could focus solely on improving her game, they thrust her into the limelight too quickly. The decision to have her compete in men's tournaments, for example, was as much about marketing as it was about her golf development. While it gained attention and boosted her profile, it put unnecessary pressure on a young athlete who was still learning the game. They pretty much forgot that there's a fine line between supporting a child's dreams and putting undue pressure on them to succeed. In Wie's case, her family's involvement seemed to have crossed that line. Rather than letting her talent grow organically, they prioritized short-term fame over long-term success. Again, the financial pressure didn't help either. With big sponsorship deals came high expectations from all sides: her sponsors, the media, and her family. But those expectations can be a heavy burden for a young athlete to carry. Wie's career ended with her decision to retire from the game of golf in May 2022. She played one more event: the 2023 U.S. Women's Open, and her daughter McKenna, born in June 2020, was central to her decision to step away. Wie was supposed to end her career as an undisputable GOAT of women's golf, but multiple factors that had to work in her favor worked against her. Her family, management, coaches, and brand sponsorships all played a role in ending her career in the most undeserving way. What are your thoughts on Michelle Wie's controversial career? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on more exciting videos about women's golf. See you in the next one.